Hello everyone, and welcome to The Witchnotist. My name is Devadesa, and I will be quoting Kryon of Magnetic Services. The question today was, can a group help the coherence of one who sits before it, who is not in coherence? The simple answer, yes. So, if you can extend this whole idea of communicated coherence, I'll tell you that although it would appear to be a linear process, it's far bigger than you think. Group coherence, when scientifically measured, is where the individuals in the group are of like mind and a similar emotional state. Today, you just went through the actual measurement of those attributes. Imagine for a moment having many people in coherence and thinking about the same thing. It's almost like you have a radio broadcasting station and suddenly it goes way beyond what you think it could. It's not a linear broadcast about the same thing. It's almost like you have a radio broadcasting station and suddenly it goes way beyond what you think it could. It's not a linear broadcast. Coherence has a propensity to create a greater coherence. This effect hasn't really been measured, but one group goes into coherence and another group somewhere else receives it. Coherence is, therefore, an energy that, by its purity, can build on itself. When you start having focused coherence, you start to see that others fall into the same coherence far easier because of those in coherence next to them. It may even seem contagious. This is a premise that we have given you in metaphysics that says that balance broadcasts balance. True balance of consciousness creates energy. When you have one balanced individual in a group of those who are not, or among chaos, that individual is not just one among many, but rather it's like he has generated light in a dark place. People begin to feel the one who is balanced, and their own reaction to that balance then relates other balance. Many times, coherence creates more in itself without any conversation at all, and you start to see the power of the created synchronicity that we have called coherence. This, however, is only one attribute of many, which is starting to occur on this planet. We said light begets light. This means that the light of high consciousness actually creates more of itself in a way that you're not aware of, and that this attribute is not yet explainable to you. If you look at the example of a light worker creating light in a dark place, what you start to see is that light doesn't stay in one place. It's not linear or local, like an object or liquid would be. Light goes everywhere all at once. In a dark room, when someone lights a match, everyone can see a little better. So it doesn't just benefit the one who lit the match. Then, eventually, others light a match because they see the one who has lit the first match can see far better than before. They can see their situation better in the light. Pretty soon, others get the idea, and more can see better. If you can see one another better, then you're not afraid of each other. The fear that has happened on this planet has been generated from those who can't see the other one and who surrounds the wagons, as they say, to protect assets and resources because they don't know about the other cultures or societies or even their own neighbors. They can't see them, so they fear them. However, when you can see each other, you can see they're just like you. You can see that humanity has so much in common, and even, perhaps, you worship the same beautiful creator. Perhaps it's in a different way, but when you can see that you all understand the image of God, you begin to relax. Now tell me, what would happen if you had that kind of coherence on the planet, even marginally? What would happen if you started to see one another better? And that formerly dark room, which is humanity, started to be illuminated. When you began to actually see one another, what would it be like? The answer is revelation, and it has already begun. Did you realize that the invention of what you call the internet seems to correspond with the things that Kryon was telling us about in 1989? The internet has allowed us, so many people on this planet, to see you and for you to see them. Social media that has been used by hundreds of millions of people is about seeing beyond borders and, for the first time, actually viewing how other cultures live. This, therefore, allows for revelation because of their similarities. This is a different paradigm on this planet from any other time in history. It's a revelation about humanity itself. There are those who would say, well, this whole technology explosion is dangerous to us. It actually takes away from the socialization of individuals with individuals. If that's you, then perhaps you are not appreciating the bigger picture. For the first time on this planet, cultures are looking at each other directly, instead of simply listening to their leaders regarding who they should or should not fear. Young people all over the world are starting to see other young people in foreign lands. They're doing this not as individual to individual, but in mass, by the millions. They are beginning to realize that others are not as they were told. When you can tune in and talk to regular people in country after country after country, you start to see something, and you get a coherence of understanding. There is the realization that you all want the same thing. What would happen if you dedicated a day or two just understanding one another? Perhaps you would call it Understanding Day, where the whole idea would be to put yourself in a place of compassionate understanding with people in foreign places. Let's say you could do that. In that day, in that moment, if you could then pull every human and ask them this question: can you ever see a reason for the horror of war? What do you think the answer would be? They'd all say no. Overwhelmingly no. Then you'd start to understand the dysfunction of what war does and how a few can affect the many. Then you begin to realize how the powerful can override those who are not. And you start to realize how your internet has changed everything. It lets you see into the hearts of those you've never known before. It's an example of technology that's ready for its time. It's an example that perhaps not all technology is bad. It requires that a balance is needed of technology and humanism. It's all part of the involvement of humanity, using the tools at hand, and more is coming. Questions have been asked today, but other questions haven't even been asked yet. One of the questions that has not been asked out loud is this: what's the fast track to enlightenment? And here is the answer. It's the ability to sit down and be loved. The ability to sit down and be loved. In that state, information flows to you from your own library within. This is information that Kryon speaks about in many ways. And it speaks of your own life history. And it starts with the mother. Those were the early days that many of you can't remember, of being cuddled and held and loved and taken care of. There was nothing like it. Nothing like it. All of the chemistry was there of perfect, unconditional love. Now, you don't have to be smart or intelligent or evolved to understand love. You just don't. You don't have to have intellectual understanding of consciousness to be loved. You just don't. That same care and love of Mother is pouring at you right now from the creative source. It's pouring at you. However, there's an invisible shield that keeps it away, and it bounces right off this self-created barrier. This shield keeps all that caring and love from being seen and felt. And you can give it as many names as you want, but the shield is strong. So much so that you don't even know what love is. You can call this shield a lack of belief or the fear of change. You can also be trained out of it by those you trust. Or you can be too smart to be interested in such odd things as metaphysics. What about a metaphysical shield, a spiritual shield? Can you be fully engulfed in the study of energy and still have this shield? Yes. We call it intellectual metaphysics. This is where someone is so involved in the mysteries of metaphysics and all the energy that they never feel the love. They're just too much in the minutiae of how things work to stop and be loved. Ask yourself, are you really interested in all of the mystery school information and how energy may have been developed with consciousness of the past and all the mysterious historical structures and what they mean? But you don't want to really listen to me. That's a shield. You want everything but the love, yet the love is the answer to much more balanced and a healthy life. You want to cook the meal over and over but never eat it? You study gourmet cooking, then dash out to eat fast food. Isn't it time to stop that shield? How about finally recognizing it and simply dropping it? Say it. Fear of truth is keeping you where you are. Can you forget everything you were taught for just a minute? Right or wrong, or black and white, and just sit there. If you could do this, the shields will come dropping down for a moment. Do you dare ask yourself, what if everything I thought I knew or was told is simply the 3D version of multiple D? What if everything I thought and believed was in black and white, and there's color everywhere? If you can get to neutral, even for a moment, in comes the love of God and starts the lesson. This is what compassion is like. This is what love is like. Emulate it. Be it. Understand it. This is the revelation of those who have been there. Even the highest scientists, engineers, and politicians have experienced this. It's not just for the few. If you can go to that place, then you start understanding how to arrange and balance your beliefs and how to arrange your metaphysics and how to react to energy. Then your entire world starts to expand. How many of you were told you have to build a shield around yourself to keep certain things from happening? Well, I will tell you what it often does. It keeps you from being loved because you've got a shield of fear. You think you're shielding the darkness, but you're shielding everything, including balance. Did you know that? Don't you feel that? There are so many listening who still truly don't understand. Still don't understand how to sit and be loved. They worry, even about their own belief system. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? They worry about dark energy, as though they had no light at all within themselves to change it. Many actually make up things to enhance the worry because it's a habit. They often get worry support groups going. If you can sit there and be loved for just a moment, everything starts to snap into balance. It can rewrite your old program of what you think is important if you will allow it. There is the goal. If you want to know what enlightenment is, and you want to know about real truth, sit and be loved. The information will come directly from the image of God inside you, unblocked by the shield of unbelief. The masters who walked into this planet and had a lot of followers, while the masters walked the planet, and for generations later, many of the followers would get together and decide the meanings to be gleaned from what the masters said and did. They also decided what rules should be built around their lives. However, one rule was quite often missed. Emulate these masters. That's what they came here for. When they would do miraculous things, and when they were taught about love, emulate this. The masters personified love. Emulate this. Today, there's a different energy on this planet. It's starting to shift in consciousness and away from the darkness. Be aware, your media is not showing it. For your media is part of the worry machine. The real media of light is your coherence, balance, and emulation of the masters. For that creates light that goes everywhere. We are asking each one of you to take the mantle of a kind of mastery if you wish. It's where you can emulate the Creator with your consciousness and your higher self. And it becomes an integration where you can stand up anywhere in society and be peaceful. People will be attracted to you. And when they ask you about your inner quietness, you're not going to give them a doctrine. Instead, you're going to give them love. What a concept. You're going to give them time, compassion, and understanding. You're going to give them a compassion that's infectious. It's healing and joyful. There are those who will simply want to walk with you because they feel safe with you. Disease won't be attracted to you because you're balanced and you're broadcasting it. Sound too stoic? Ask a doctor. Does fear, unbalance, and stress create disease? Should I tell you that this shield of yours is the leading factor that allows disease? Are you getting the truth of this? When they ask you how you balance, you can say, it's all about the release of fear and embracing a greater love concept of who the Creator is. Tell them you are aware that you are here on purpose and not a victim of the planet. Tell them you are actually experiencing it. Listen, you don't have to give them a Kryon book. Just tell them about yourself and how you feel and how it has changed you. So many of you know and have seen what laughter can do and how it actually creates more laughter. In a group When one person is laughing for a time, it will eventually catalyze all of them laughing. That's what we're talking about. That's the attribution of light. That's the beauty of compassion and joy. Laughter is a consciousness, and it isn't just an emotion or a cause and effect chemical attribute. It's beautiful and sends great healing energy to those around you. We say again that there are those light workers who chase away others because they're so aggressive with their unusualness. Many are proud of this. Ask them, are you aware that you are so unusual that you chase away people? And they will say, yes, that's my task. I have to be unusual to hold the energy of this planet. Being unusual and odd and holding the energy of this planet was a staple of light workers in a much older energy. Now, it's not that way. That was then, and this is now. In this new energy, you have thousands who are joyful and spreading light. They're no longer just holding energy. They're holding and spreading it. Now, once you understand the difference between the old planetary energy and the new energy, I'll tell you what the revelation is. You're going to hold the energy of the planet tenfold and spread your energy with some joy and balance. You never were more powerful. Gone are the days where you have to be strange to believe in metaphysics. Today, I will redefine metaphysics. It is the study of energy beyond what it was defined as before. It is now the study of higher energies of balance and coherence. Perhaps somebody may ask you what you believe in. You might tell them gently, I believe in beautiful energies that surround me. I believe in angels. I believe that there are processes of God we don't understand and that are able to work with our lives. If you do this in balance and love, many are going to say, tell me more. They're not going to run in the opposite direction. That's the difference today. Light worker, old soul. That's the difference. We represent a belief system that often seems to be odd and weird and strange, and it's time to change that. You can take the truth of energy that you've carried all these years and balance it and be beautiful to the planet. Beautiful. The result is that people will be attracted to your love and compassion and balance, and you won't appear to be strange or weird. The masters did not appear to be strange or weird. They appeared to be powerful and balanced. And when they sat and taught, nobody ran the other way. Their words were kind and soft and beautiful and wise and healing. Now, that's you. Welcome, my dear friends, to a new age. A real new age. This is not an evangelistic point of view, but rather one where light is attractive and compassion even more attractive. Balance is kind, and that's why you're here. This message has been brought to you by all the angels in the room, the entourage in the room, and the ones who are cheering in a stoic stadium right now, all together. Go do it. Go do it. Today, you have help. The wind is at your back. Now go do it.